So guys, today I'll be teaching people how to make use of Openai ChatGPT in your React project. So first off, I'll start by creating a React project. nps create React app. I'm gonna create it in this directory, so I'm gonna wait a few minutes for the project to be created. So as the project is creating, I'm gonna go and grab the APIs that I'm gonna use for this project. So I'm gonna head straight to the Openai API, and I'm going to grab it from their website. So this is the official website for Openai. So from here I'm gonna log in, but if you don't have an account, you can click on sign up to create an account. So I'm going to click login to log in. Then I'm going to have access to the AI API, whatever. So from here I have my Google account, so I'm going to click continue with Google account. You can also sign in with email and password or Microsoft account. Alright, so from this dashboard I'll click personal, then view API keys. So from the API keys I'm gonna click create new secret key. This is going to be the API that I'm going to be using, the API secret key that I'm going to be using for this project. So I'm gonna create new API, create new secret key, and this one was the one that I created a few hours ago, but I don't have access to this and there's no way I can see this. The only thing you can do is to delete it, but you have to create another one for you to be able to delete this. So I'm gonna click this button to create a new API. I'm gonna copy it. That'll head back to my project, but it is still running, so I'll have to wait a little bit. Alright, so now that the project is done, I'm gonna go here in the root folder of the project and create a .env file. So the env file is the file that I'm going to use to store the API, so that it's not going to be accessible by everybody. It's actually a secret key, so for security purposes it is very important to store it outside the main project folder. So it's going to be in the root folder. It should be in the same folder as the package.json. So I'm gonna create a new variable to store the API key. So the name of the variable should start with React app. Take notes, the name of the variable should start with React app. So it is like a React convention that we make use of when naming React apps, because without this React app being in front of the name, being as a prefix, then it is going to be hard for React to see it as environment variable. So React app OpenGPT ChatGPT API. Alright, so I can just click my Ctrl S to save, or I can just head straight to this file and save it. So after that I'll now head straight to the src folder. From the src folder I'll open my app.js and delete this header element. So I'm gonna create a h1 to see if my app is actually running. Hello world, npm start. I'm going to wait a few minutes and going to know if the project is going to run. Okay, it is running right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to install the Openai library. So I'm going to go to the console and type npm i for install Openai. So I'm going to wait few minutes for this OpenAI library to install, because this is the library that I'm going to be using to make requests to the OpenAI, artificial intelligence bot, to be sending prompts and receiving responses. So from here, I'm going to go to their documentation, then I'm going to go to libraries. So from the library, as you can see, we have the OpenAI, but this is in Python, so this is Node.js, but I'm using this on React. So from the Node.js code implementation, we can see that we have the configuration and OpenAI models, that is required for this project to work. So I'm going to go back and grab those two models: configuration and OpenAI API. Alright, so before I continue, I would like to console log my API from the environmental variable to know if I really have access to it or not. So console log, this is the API. So process.env dot oh, I should grab the name of the variable, not the value. So this, and we have to npm start to be sure that this is actually working. So I'm going to go to the console to check if this is actually logged in the console. Alright, so this is the API, so that means we have access to it in our project app. Everything is working fine. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to build the HTML structure. So this is going to be the API. So I'm going to build the HTML structure. I'm going to build a form. So this form is going to have two elements: the input field and the button to submit. So send message. Alright, so in the input field we have the name attribute. The name attribute should be prompt, and the value should be prompt to unchanged. So I'm going to import the useState React model. Is actually a React hook. So now that we have the prompt and the button set up, we can view it from the page. So this is it, but I would like to use the test area so that the user will be able to input multi-line messages or tests, so that the bot would also pass that. So I'll make use of test area right here. Test area. Alright, so and here is going to be the output. This is going to be the response. All right, so if I change this to hello world, so I'm going to change this to h3. Okay. All right, now so we have to go back to the documentation to know how this is actually set up. So we have the configuration. It creates a new instance of the configuration module and accepts this API as a key. Okay, so we also have the Openai API, and it takes in the configuration as a parameter. So we have to go back to this and do that. All right, so after that we need the we need to create a response and send the request to this OpenAI using the model, the prompt, the temperature, and the mass tokens. So we have to create a function for that, because this is actually an async await function. Like is a request that is being sent to a server. So we have to create an async function for that. So we have to create a function, send message. So in this we need the response, and we also need the model. So for instance, let the prompt be how are you doing. So the prompt is actually the user input, and yeah, the model is going to be this test DaVinci 003. There are also so many models in the OpenChat API, but this is the one that we are going to be making use of. Temperature. The temperature is actually the rate of randomness in the response of the API in the AI. For instance, if you're using the zero, where is the page? So this zero temperature means that the rate of the randomness is going to be very minimal, and also the mass tokens means that the length of the answers. For instance, if you ask the AI a question that may need up to 500 words, and the mass tokens is less than probably 500, then the answers are going to be incomplete. So you need to tweak the mass tokens until you get a kind of a preferred number that is going to serve whatever purpose that you're creating the bot. So I'm going to use 0 right here, and for the mass tokens I'm going to make use of 7. I'll also have to change it later. I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I want this to launch after the page loads, and it's going to launch once. So I'm going to be making use of the use effect hook, send message. So this is it. I'm going to be making use of the use effect hook, and it should console in the console log. It should log in the console log. So I'm gonna refresh and go back to the console log to check what I have in there. So I have an object, and I also have the data and the choices. So in the choices, as you can see, we have the test, and the test is I'm doing well. So that is the response that we are getting from the Open AI ChatGPT. So we have to grab this and display it on the page. How do we do that? So we have to first of all get this, and we create a variable name. The name should be message. So this message should be the response dot data dot choices on test. So this is the message right here. So this message is what we should display on the page. Alright, so I have this, and it should update the response state variable, so that whenever it does that, the component or the whole page is gonna re-render, and we should have it right here. So let's see, set response. We have this message right here, and boom, when I refresh the page, I should see I'm doing well. So when I refresh the page again, I should see a different answer. Okay, I'm doing well, because the temperature is set to 0. So I might just increase it to 2 and refresh. I am doing well. As you can see, the temperature also made modified the response in a way. So we have to create a function that is going to be submitting the user input. So we want the function to run only when the user clicks send message. So after typing whatever prompt they have for the Open AI ChatGPT, once they click send, the message should be sent to the ChatGPT to generate a response. So how do we do that? We have to create a function right here, submit user input. So when this is actually clicked, it should submit the form. So we have to submit the form using the submit attribute. So e dot prevent default. This is to prevent the form from refreshing the page when we click send message. So we have to type this and prevent default, e dot prevent default. So the next thing we want to do is we want to call this function right here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this and get rid of this also. So the prompt should not be how are you. We are going to change the prompt to the user input. So the prompt is going to be the prompt, all right, from the user. So once we type in the prompt, say how are you doing today, click send message. We have to wait a few minutes, and I'm doing well. So if I ask a question like what is an NFT, send message. NFT stands for none. This is because the mass tokens is set as 7, so we have to increase this to get more responses, okay, or maybe larger tests. So the only way we can do that is maybe I can change it to 200, and I'm gonna try again. Oh, look at that. Haha. So an NFT fungible token blah 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 allows confidence security apply information. Okay, so I can also change it to 500. All right, so I can also ask what is today's date. What's today's date? It takes a while. Okay, today's date. Oh, today's date is October. Oh my god, why you giving me that? Okay, so I can see what is the time. All right, as you can see, that is how to implement OpenGPT AI in React project. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section, and if you want to have access to this code, I posted a link to the GitHub repo in the video description. So like and subscribe, and you can share this video to your friends. Thank you.